I don't know, can we put a few more chairs in?
We can.
There's some more over in
Chairs
the
over
corner.
here, and there's a chair over here.
We need one in here, up here for the rabbi.
I think the rabbi is going to leave.
He doesn't, he needs a chair over here in front.
Stay where it
Like, are you talking about Rabbi Allen?
No. Our pretend rabbi.
Oh, the performing rabbi.
Our performing rabbi.
Ah, okay, so I'll take this chair.
is. Rabbi Allen.
I hear somebody's phone going off. If you can silence your phones.
Okay.
Oh, maybe I'm hearing the CD player. Right here?
That's fine.
Okay.
Can we start?
You can start. Yes.
Shalom Kaverim. Hello. Hello. Have you ever heard of Helm?
Yes. Yes.
If you did, please raise your hand. Oh, very nice. Helm. Helm is a small town in southeast Poland, close to Lublin, and not very far from the Ukraine. There was a beautiful mountain growing on top, and that's why the Helmanites decided to go there and make it their town. They wanted to move out to the suburbs, so this was their way of moving out to the suburbs. So they had this gorgeous mountain that had pine and maple and birch and even some cherry trees in order to make their houses and their businesses. So what did they do? They decided the first thing we have to do if you move into a town is make a synagogue. So what did they do? They walked up to the top of the mountain, and at the top of the mountain they cut down the trees, and then two people would carry the tree down to the bottom, two more people would carry the tree down to the bottom, and then another one would carry the tree down to the bottom, and pretty soon a little boy came along and said, "Why are you carrying all the logs down? This is a mountain. You can just push them down the mountain." And they said, "Oh my goodness, of course we can do that." So what did they do? They took the logs that they had taken down to the bottom and carried them up to the top, and carried one after the other up to the top, and up to the top, another one. And then after they were all settled at the top, they put them in a row. And they said, "Okay, here we go." And they rolled the logs all down to the bottom of the valley. And then they looked and they said, "We're so tired of carrying all these logs. We'll make the synagogue tomorrow." And that's what they had to do. So that's one of the stories of Helm. And I guess you want to know how Helm got started. Well, this is my favorite story. Hashem decided he had made man, and after he decided he had made man, he said, "Oh, I have to give out some wise souls and some foolish souls." So he called in two of his angels and said, "Here, you take this bag with wise souls and take it all over the country. And you take this one with foolish souls and drop them in a few places." So what happened? This angel said to the other one, "I'm going to go this way, and you go that way, and we'll meet in the middle." So the one with the wise souls went that way, the one with the foolish souls went that way, and as soon as he came to the mountain that was over Helm, the bag snagged on a rock, and all the foolish souls fell down into Helm. The Helmites didn't know that they were foolish because they thought they were very wise. They had so many people who were doing things just the way they wanted. If you had to do things the way the Helmites did it, you might do it too, but they had a special way of doing things. So this time they said, Oh, we have so many worries and so many problems. What are we going to do? So in the synagogue, they had also made it a town hall. So they met in the town hall for 7 days and 7 nights, which is exactly what they decided. So then they're thinking and thinking and thinking, what are we going to do? And then somebody comes up and says, well, why don't we appoint Yossel, the chimney sweep, to be our official worrier? We'll pay him 1 kopeck a week, and then he can worry for all of us. And Beryl, who was the wisest of all of the sages, said, just a minute, just a minute. If we appoint Yossel to do our worrying and he makes 1 kopeck a week, what has he got to worry about? So that's our story about hell. And I guess you want to know if there's really a town of hell. There is. There is a small town in Poland that is Helm. People in Helm, there's no longer any Jews there, but their biggest business is making cell phones. And if you want to buy a cell phone, you would go to Helm. Of course, you wouldn't find a synagogue there, but that's beside the point. Who knows whether the Helmites did things. Maybe they were the first people to think out of the box and do things their own way. Now, I'd like to tell you another story. This is not about Helm. This is about Herschel of Ostropoler. Herschel was a trickster. Maybe you've seen some of his books, Herschel the Trickster or Herschel of the Goblins. Well, Herschel was a trickster, and his biggest job was to entertain the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov was always worried and depressed, so Herschel had to think up all kinds of jokes to tell him. But his main job was to feed his family. So what did he do? He had to go to all the marketplaces and buy some satskes for all the people. Sometimes he would buy combs, sometimes he would buy mirrors, sometimes he would buy toys for the kids. So he went, that day, he went all around, and he had been traveling all around to each of the shtetls around. And as soon as he found out that he was so tired and he's so hungry, he said, oh dear, I know where there's an inn here. I'm going to see if they will give me some supper. I have some money to pay him, so maybe he can get some supper. So he goes to the door, knock, 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 knock. And the woman comes and says, see, it's Herschel. And she says,
who is it?
knock, 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 knock.
Who is it?
It's Herschel. I need something to eat. Please, could you give me something to eat? I have money to pay you.
Herschel. I know about Herschel. He's a mischief maker. I'm not going to open the door to Herschel. I'm not opening the door to Herschel. I'm going to tell him we have no more food. Say, I'm sorry, Herschel, the inn is closed. We have no more food for today.
Oh dear, he said. If that's what the problem is, I'm going to have to do what my father did. So she said,
Oi, he's going to do what his father did. Ve'izmir. I know Herschel himself is a mischief maker. What did his father do? What did he learn from his father? I think I better open the door. I don't want to, but who knows what he'll do? If I don't give him food, maybe he'll come in and steal it. Maybe he'll throw rocks at the windows and destroy the inn. Maybe he'll run around the whole town and tell everybody how terrible we are and give us a bad name. He'll ruin the Shem Tov we have. I don't know what to do, but I better let Herschel in. I better make him some food.
So that's what she did. She came and she gave him some.
This is not appropriate. This is not appropriate. No.
I made him supper. I gave him a plate of food. And I gave him a plate of food. He took it, he ate, and he left. And you know what? I asked him while he was eating, Herschel, you like the food? He said, yeah, it's fine. Everything is fair, everything is good. So by the way, Herschel, what would your father have done in his day when he was turned away from an inn and they wouldn't give him food to eat? What did he do?
Well, he said, and he pushed his head off the forehead, and he said, well, if my father was tired, he went home, and if there was no food in the house, he went to bed hungry. Let's give Carol the bow. All right, now we need to go to our next story, which takes a little longer, and if we have my actresses who want to come up, or my people who want to come up, okay, we'll move around a little bit. Just give us a few minutes.
Where do you want?
Right there is fine. Right there is fine.
You want me to sit here?
Yes,
Okay.
please. All right, where's our rabbi?
Donnie.
Over there.
Donnie.
No. There's a. Are you her? Where's the? I can't see. The rabbi's supposed to be up here.
Stage left.
Page left.
Yes. Thank goodness you're all
This is another story. Over there. Okay. This is another story, and it's called It Could Always Be Worse. I'm sure some of you know this story, but here's the way it goes. There was a farmer. He had a little farm, and he had chickens and cows and a dog, and maybe he even had a goat. We don't know for sure. But he was so exhausted when he went home at night because he had to pick all the weeds and plant the seeds for his farm. And he went home at night and he wanted to be relaxed. But he says, my house is so small. It only has one room. What do you do with a house that only has one room? And we have 10 children and the new baby. And let me see. My mother-in-law is there singing to the baby.
lullaby and good night. Please stop crying.
And my children are running around playing with the dolls and playing with the baby, and maybe one of them could even be the baby and say, oh, dear me. So my wife's nagging me to build another room on the house. What am I going to do? So he decided the next day that he's going to go to ask the rabbi, what should he do? So he climbs up the top of the mountain because that's where the rabbi lived. The top of the mountain. Oh, Rabbi, please tell me, what should I do? My house is so small. My mother-in-law is singing to the baby. And my children are running around trying to play, and my wife is nagging me to build another room. Rabbi, what should I do?
Oi, mizmer, oi.
You got problems? Oi, Hashem will take care of you.
Bring in the chickens.
First of all, you gotta bring in the chickens.
Bring in the chickens. Oh dear, what am I going to do? The chickens flew into the house and they went,
Cluck, cluck.
oh, and my children were running around playing, and my mother-in-law is still singing. Oh my. Thank you. All right. The next day he said to his wife, I've got to go back up to the rabbi. What am I going to do? So this time he went up and up and up and up and up. He says, oh, Rabbi, please, we took the chickens into the house. What am I going to do now? Bring in the cow.
Bring in the cow. Bring in the cow. It's gonna rain.
Oh, my goodness. How in the world will a cow fit into my house? So we took the cow into the house, and my mother-in-law is singing. Oh, and the baby's crying, and the chickens are clucking, and the cow's saying, moo. Oh, and he couldn't rest at all because so many things were happening. And he says, I'm going to have to go back up to the rabbi and see what he has to say this time. So he went up to the rabbi, climb to the side of the mountain, because that's where the rabbi was living. And the rabbi was busy reading his book. But he says, oh, Rabbi, please, what are we going to do? Tell me. My mother-in-law is still singing to the baby, and the baby's crying, and the chickens are making noise, and the cow is, Rabbi, what should we do?
You still have problems.
Yes, we
You
have
still
problems.
problems. May I suggest everybody pitch in?
Everyone, how about if we bring the dog in?
The dog can handle it, but if it's gonna rain and if it's gonna be bad weather, boy, bring the dog in also.
Oh, thank you, Rabbi. Are you sure that's what we should do?
What else?
Oh, dear me. So he went down. The next day, he goes home after working on the farm all day, and his mother-in-law is still singing. And his kids are running around playing. And the chickens are still making all this noise and dropping all their feathers. And the cow is doing moo. Oh my. And the dog?
You have audience participation.
Oh, can anybody participate being a dog? All right, that's it. So he says, oh, this house is so small, maybe I'll get to make a new room for my wife. So this time he goes up to the rabbi, and the rabbi says, Rabbi, please, what are we going to do? What should we do? Please, tell me what to do.
I have no idea, but again, everybody pitch in.
Take everything out.
And now, can I, another suggestion? Take everything out.
Oh, you mean I can take out the chickens? And I can take out the cow? And And I can take out the dog? It's a pretty nice dog. Do you think we should leave it in? Do you think we should leave the dog in? No, I'm not so sure. We won't have enough room if we leave the dog in. All right. All right, we'll take the chickens out. Go out. Go out. We don't need any more chickens. And we take out the cow. That's the biggest one. He goes back in his barn. And he's going to go back in his barn. And the dog, well, just for now, we'll take the dog out too. Okay? And his wife said, "Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rabbi. It could always be worse." Oh, thank you. I have a special treat for you, Ruth. I know there's another story on there. Did you want to hear my other story?
Yes.
Great debate.
A great debate, but I have a special treat for you. This is my friend Ruth Burson, who came all the way from St. Louis. She's in our choir in St. Louis.
I'm the one that brought Faigy here.
She's in our choir that I was in St. Louis, and she's going to sing a song for you.
Right, but what song am I going to sing? That's the question. So I have this book of Jewish songs, and the one that I know the tune to this, and I know some of the Yiddish words. But if you know the Yiddish words, please sing along.
We have a few people who know.
Right.
A little way.
A little,
Yeah.
From your mouth.
Okay.
like this.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Fine.
Okay, so
You want me to-
this is often Pripyatchik. And I'm going to mispronounce all the Yiddish words. I'm sorry. Often Pripyatchik, Brenta Freieril, ohne Stubis Haze, und der Rebbe leren kleine, Kinderlach dem alle Face, und der Rebbe leren kleine Kinderlach dem alle Face. Zeitje zijn lach, gedenkt de Tijera, was leren to. Zogt je nog amol, und der Tachas mo, kommet alle Face. Oh, Tachamo, kommet alle Face. You're going to see the next one. Zogt je noch amol, und der Tachano. I really don't know the tune. But do you all know Tumbala, 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 Laika, Tumbala, 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 Laika, Tumbala, Laika, Spielbala, Laika, Tumbala, Laika, freilich soll sein. Yidel, diddle, diddle, dee dum, yidel, diddle, who knows the word? Diddle, dee dum, yidel, dee diddle, diddle, dee diddle, yidel, dee diddle, diddle, dee dum. Tumbala, 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 laika, tumbala, 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 laika, tumbala, laika, spielbala, laika, tumbala, laika, freilich soll sein.
Thank you, Ruth. Okay. Do you think we will have time for one more story? This is a story called The Great Debate. And maybe you know this already. But in a small town there was a priest, And all his disciples came to him and said, "Oh, Father, we have got to get rid of all the Jews. They're taking all of our business and not letting us make any money. And what are we going to do? We got to get rid of all the Jews." And the Jews said, "Well, who's going to be debate with the priest?" Well, Moshe said, "I'll do it. I'll do it." He was not very smart, but he said, "I can do it." Well, the priest couldn't speak Yiddish, and Moshe couldn't speak Italian, so this is what happened. Moshe's wife said, "I'm going to wash out your overalls, and you will look very good. I might even trim your beard and fix your hair." So that's what they did. They sat down in the middle of the marketplace. The priest on this side, Moshe on this side, and before you knew it, the priest went like this. Moshe said, "What am I going to do?" So he went like this. And the priest said, And he took his hand and went like this, all around his head. And Moshe said, then the priest looked at him and said, "What was that all about?" So he took out his cracker and his wine, and he started to drink it. And Moshe took out an apple because his wife had very nicely put an apple in the back of his overalls, and he started to bite it. And the priest says, "All right, you win. You Jews can stay here." Well, all his disciples came up to him and said, "Oh, Father, tell us what happened." Well, I held up 3 fingers for the Trinity, and he shook his head and he said, "1 finger," which meant that God is in both of our religions. So then the priest said, so then I went like this and said, "God is all around us." And he looked and he stamped his foot, thump, and he said, "He's right here, right here." And then I took out my crackers and my wine, that Christ would absolve all the people from their sins. And he took out an apple and showed me the original sin. So I said, "I can't go on. You can stay." Well, all the Jews came up. "Moshe, what did you do? How did you do? What did he mean when he said all this?" Well, he held up 3 fingers, which meant we had 3 days to get out of here. And I said, "No, we're not going anywhere in 1 day." And then he circled his hand around his head, and he said, "All of you have to get out of here. We'll make you get out of here." And I said, "We're not going anywhere. We've been here all the time." And then what happened? Well, he took out his lunch, so I took out mine. Thank you all for coming. If you want me to come back another time, I have lots of other stories.
Autographs will be
Would you
given.
like to stand up? Can I have my character stand up? This is Malky or Sunny Adasa, and that's Janine, Simon, Esther Weiss, and
Anybody who brings a
Joanne.
dog or a cow, I'm available.
Joanne.
My dog.
Herschel
Thank you, Toda.
was my daughter-in-law, Carol.
And the rabbi.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
I can't I can't. My pleasure, people.
Very
My
nice.
pleasure.
Thank you, very nice.
Esther, it was wonderful.
Anybody have any questions?
Got Faigy.
What's your favorite one?
What's my favorite? I have a bunch of film stories, but I have another one by, I think you ought to know that some of the Jewish writers were Sholem Aleichem, which you know that Fiddler on the Roof was from Sholem Aleichem's Tevye, the Miltran, and Adnan, who was a Hebrew writer and has written many, many Hebrew stories. There are some popular, newer folktale writers. One is Howard Schwartz, who happens to live in St. Louis, and I know him, and another is Pamela Schramm, who lives in Israel and writes folktale. Adina Schramm. Panina Schramm, yeah. And you all seem to know Isaac Batsheva Singer, too. Anybody have any other questions?
A big hand to my mother. She's a veteran in more than 25 productions in St. Louis, Yiddish theater. She was in Arsenic and Old Lace. She was the evil stepmother in Cinderella. She played in Crossing Delancey. And my father was also an actor, and they were frequently in the same productions.
Where did they
perform? Yiddish theater, various community theaters, the community center.
We also performed at
Cardiac Capers, I don't know where that went. I don't know the theaters.
Hey, you were very good. The only story was the film story, because they called him the Solomon Aronim.
Throw them around.
Aronim, stupid.